Welcome, beautiful people, to season 2, episode 11 of Jahmi Roc's Jottings, this seriously silly space for intentional musicology, sonic joy, and the kind of reggae insight that'll keep your mind rocking and your thoughts swaying. I'm your host, Jahmi Roc, aka Raquel Bernard. Let's jam our way into a conversation with my friend 215 Galactic, aka Shelby Mott. Why don't you go ahead and briefly introduce yourself, Shelby?
Blessing. My name is Shelby, coded for it shall be. I'm currently living in Los Angeles, grew up in Chicago, and I working on a couple of projects, genuine human being, as well as through my music. So I'm here to really empower others through my own experiences. And I'm really honored to be able to sit here today to honor the ancestors who have paved the way through their trials and tribulations, but also seeking empowerment, meaning having positive messages. So this is an honor for me to be here to synchronize how each of us are special, and so there's only one race human, and this roster movement talks about the one love, and I'm honored to be following in their footsteps and grateful to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shelby. So, today, listeners, we're doing things a little differently. This season is a season of embracing new ways of doing things, and the season of Raquel Bernard and friends really vibing to the fullest. So, one thing that 215 Galactic has introduced me to is something called Galactic Signatures, and he knows a lot about it. He can tell you lots of different things when it comes to this. And so I thought, why not hone in on one of his specialties, one of his fields of interest, fields of expertise, something that he is very wise in, and relate it back to reggae and think through how some of the reggae's legends, both those who are ancestors and those who are still with us, are coded galactically. So today's gonna be a little different. We're gonna go through a few um artists. We're gonna talk about when they were born, for instance, and then using that birth date, that month, day, and year, Shelby is gonna tell us their galactic signature. And before we dive into our different artists, can you just give a short overview of what is a galactic signature? What are we talking about when we talk about a person being like myself, a blue galactic knight?
Awesome. Love blessings. I love that. Thank you for that introduction to the segue. So each of us comes down, we're coded from creator, right? And we come in at a specific time. And so based upon the moment you incarnate, the stars are in a certain position. And it's very important to know the energy of that. And what I mean by that is that the sun moves 66,000 miles per hour. And so you can imagine in 10 hours on a birth date, the sun is 70,000 miles away, and then Venus is following, and Jupiter, and all these configurations. But we get deeper and imagine what happens in 10 days, the difference. And so the galactic signature is a pinpoint analysis of your archetypal essences, which is more greater than the previous astrology, because the astrology talks about 1 month being everybody. All of April and a little bit of May are Aries. And that's kind of akin to like a table of contents. You look at a book and you go, oh, chapter 4 is about getting personal. Well, you don't know what it is. You got to get into page 20 and 21, 23 and read these paragraphs to find out. And so the galactic signature hones in on what you are that day. And that gives you your gift. And so it's broken down in what's called the Soul King. It's a 260-day harmonic matrix based on the law of time. And that law of time synchronizes our planetary celestial orbits with the star celestial system of Sirius, which is the ancient Egyptians knew about the Sirius B52, the 52-year orbit around Sirius A. And in aligning that, it breaks it down into 13 different tones and 20 seals. That's how you get 260, and it goes through a process of red, white, blue, and yellow, and then a tone of excuse me, 13 tones, 1 through 13. And the cool significance of this harmonic module is that it aligns with the planetary solar orbit of 1 year, meaning instead of the old paradigm of 12 months to synchronize a 365-day year, which is a mathematically incorrect module, Because if you have 2 months that have a constant, which is days, 1x equals y, you don't synchronize, meaning January has 31 days, February has 28 days,
Mhm.
and then gets high every 4 years, gets a leap year. Right now, he's 29 days long. June has 30, July 31. And so in a system, you can see that that energy doesn't be the same. And the reason I bring this up is that it's important to know thyself is that if you're driving on a vehicle and you 1 degree off, in 2 blocks, you'd hit the curb. You're just not there. And if you stay on that angle for a mile, so you're like a mile away from destination. And so over time, the humans have been taken away from the multidimensional aspects of themselves because they were not in the conscious alignment. And I say this facetiously because it's very true. If you imagine the celestial mechanics of a phone number. If I were to call you, Raquel, and I dial 714, well, that's like San Diego, Orange County. But if I dial 715, Erico, I'm not meeting you. I can't connect to you. You're just not connectable. And so in galactic consciousness, having a thought is cool, but knowing who you're calling and where the destination is important. And so a human being who understands that they are who they are can be not only authentic, but can connect to other authenticities.
Nice.
Another example,
Nice,
yeah,
nice. Before you
yeah,
jump into your other example, because I want you to be able to weave in some of these examples and explanations as you're talking about specific people,
awesome.
right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. So let's dive right in and kick it off with none other than Bob Marley. Wow, wow, wow.
Rah, rah, one love, brother.
Yes. Born February 6, 1945, in the heart of Jamaica. Marley's music carried more than a catchy beat. It was a call for peace, unity, not, and I will pause and say he also said there was going to be war. So it's not just peace, but peace, war, unity, and justice that resonated
Hmm.
worldwide. From No Woman No Cry to One Love and Redemption Song, his catalog is an endless source of inspiration. Exodus is another anthem cementing Marley's place as the king of reggae.
Oh, yeah.
So what does that give us? February 6, 1945.
Awesome. So Marley, being the great man that he is, has a very special galactic signature. He is what's called white self-existing wizard. The kin number in the 260 matrix, number 134. And so in combining the tone of self-existing, which is the fourth tone of the 13 tones, combined with the wizard, which is the 14th seal of the 20 seals, you get a combination. The self-existing tone stands for defining, measuring, and accomplishment, measuring mind. And the wizard is about enchanting, receptivity, and timelessness. So his affirmation or his signature means this. He defines in order to enchant, measuring receptivity. He seals the output of timelessness with the self existing tone of form, and he is guided by the power of heart. Now, isn't that beautiful that he's guided by the power of heart? Because his literal energy is one love. No woman don't cry. I mean, we can see that Bob Marley, even if he didn't know that consciously, came out and embodied his energy of a self-existing wizard to enchant millions of people with complete receptivity with the self-existing tone of form. He was and is who he is.
Right,
And
and
I
very
love for
timeless
him to be
as
that.
well.
Very timeless. Yes, it's literally living in his authentic self, conscious or unconscious, because the body and the soul knows why you're here. Most humans are slow to catch on.
That's right. That's right. That's beautiful. And we are going to come back to dig a little deeper into all of these different tones and think about the families and all of that. But we're going to run through all of our artists first and then do a more capacious description and discussion of them all. Okay. So.
Awesome.
Now standing strong, both beside Bob Marley and in her own legendary light, is Rita Marley. She brought spiritual uplift to reggae with classics like Who Feels It Knows It and One Draw. As part of the I Trees, alongside Marcia Griffiths and Judy Mott, Rita defined the sound of reggae harmonies and proved women hold the front line in this genre. And that's near and dear to my heart because of the work that I do. And Rita Marley did not make it into my dissertation in terms of having a full chapter on her, but she absolutely is worth many, many dissertations in all that she has done. Her birthday is July 25th, 1946. And what does that make her, Shelby?
Awesome. Now, before I jump into it, I want to preface readers because she, among ours, is in a special category of galactic signatures. In the signatures of the 262, one-fifth of them are what's called galactic activation portals. And what those signatures mean are special high-level energies. For example, if you're born on a full moon or a solstice or an equinox, Haley's Comet was coming that year, it's just a different energetic print. So she is born on that day, and that's the last line of her signature. Now, for her, born 25 July 1946, she is kin number 148. Her galactic signature is a yellow overtone star. And what it means is that, excuse me, she empowers in order to beautify, commanding art. She seals the store of elegance with the overtone tone of radiance, and she is guided by the power of intelligence. And it says she is a galactic activation porter, and it means intermate. And so I look at the yellow overtone star and realize that Rita was empowering to say the least, literally commanding art. Her flow, as you know, is just incredible, incredibly authentic. She has a singular blueprint that is hers alone. And obviously, as a galactic activation portal, we do know from revisionist history how much she has impacted women all around the globe in the movement of oneness and the feminine movement. I mean, she's literally what I would say a goddess manifested.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, when you think about her role as a steward along with her kids of Bob Marley's legacy, like you can't deny that she just has this powerful, powerful presence,
Mhm.
to run run the different parts of his estates because he died without a will, right? He had asked when he was passing away if what would happen to what he had earned and things like that if he dies, and they're like, "Oh, well, go to your family," not knowing that there was a whole process that it would have to go through if
Man,
he didn't have a will, right? And she stood by and like went through all that process, right? She went through all of that process. And what's beautiful too, I would say, um, that lends itself to her signature is that she says in an interview in the 93, I think it was, that Bob still reasons with her, like has conversations with her. He might be gone in one sense, but she felt he's very much still present and would like sit and talk with her on various occasions, so I think that's part of her just galactic being as well.
and Johnny, what's really beautiful about your assertion of that, when you are a galactic activation portal, you understand that, like Bob, who's timelessness. So we are eternal beings, and so death is only the beginning. And so that makes an alignment very much complete that she who empowers that seals the store of elegance can be able to maintain the connectivity of the timelessness because there is no such thing as time. It is multidimensional. Past and present is the eternal now. And so I can fully believe that she's constantly with the elders, constantly with the futures, all in one. And so that makes very much sense for her role as the steward of empowering, commanding art and elegance.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's think more about these harmonies, right? And speaking of those harmonies, we think of Marcia Griffiths, a true empress, best known for Electric Boogie, and that is exactly right what you're thinking. The Electric Slide. Her vocals grace unforgettable tracks across the reggae landscape. Her enduring role as part of the I Trees made her a staple in Marley's legendary band. And Marcia Griffiths is just such a powerhouse. She's performing to this day. She's been in the recording industry and performing industry for 60 plus years. 60 plus years, you know? And
Woo-hoo.
she sometimes she talks about how like she'll perform and the people then won't pay her what they're supposed to pay her. And there's a lot of times that other artists would walk off shows, right? But because she knows that people are coming to see her, she'll still perform even though these promoters are not gonna pay her properly, you know? Um,
Mhm.
she's a powerhouse, and she was born November 23rd, 1949, making her.
A yellow crystal seed. Beautiful. Kin number 64. She also is a galactic activation portal, meaning one of the fifth, the one of the five of, the fifth percent and, of this 260. A beautiful seed. I myself am personally a eagle, and my right hand are seeds. We can talk about that later, but I resonate with seeds because it's part of my energy. So we'll get into that. But to define her, her affirmation says she dedicates in order to target, universalizing awareness. She seals the input of flowering with the crystal tone of cooperation, and she is guided by the power of intelligence. She is a galactic activation portal. Enter her. And I really love seeds. And I want to just harp on that for like 20 seconds. The seeds are the planters. The seeds harmonize with the planet. Planet Earth only moves in its family, and the seed is one of them. And you can understand how when you lay a seed, it will ripen according to its blueprint. There's nothing more perfect like the mustard seed that grows to be the largest of all plants.
Mhm.
But hers is special because she's working on um, the 12th the 12th tone of dedication, universalizing cooperation. And the reason that's important because you really can't do much alone, right? It takes a village to raise a child. Someone has to hunt, someone has to get the laundry, clean the clothes, find the fish, chop the wood. It's just about the dedication, universalizing cooperation. She does that by laying that seed, but because she's a seed of crystal, she does it with targeting, inputting awareness, because being aware is very important, because you lay your seed in like the wrong season, the crop don't come out, right? It's just going to be
Mhm.
burned up. When you pick it too early, doesn't work. So to be in dedication, universalizing, on target, allows it to bloom. And we know all about why Marcia's doing that. I love her.
Yeah, Marcia is a very interesting powerhouse because one of her songs is called Check It Out. And she says, um, something along the lines of like I made a discovery today that the plan is to make all the keep all the hungry bellies empty to make more money for the richest, and she's for the richest. And she talks about how multinationals are actually criminals. So that idea of awareness really comes in for me in that song in particular, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, they say
I
free
can
your
say
free your
more.
blank, blank will follow. I don't want to say the word, but free your blank and your blank will follow your mind. The awareness is key. It's really an in movement. And I hear you. I hear you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Uh,
Hoorah.
let's get to another Marley. Why not? There's so
All
many
right, let's
Marleys.
do it. Keep it in the family.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take it to another Marley. We stepped outside of the Marley family for a moment to, the spiritual family of the Marleys and Marcia Griffiths, because that she was tight with them. Um, And there's Damian Marley, who is Bob's youngest son. He effortlessly fuses traditional reggae with modern hip hop and dancehall. I have to say, one of my favorite collaborations of Damian Marley's was him and Nas, Patience. I love the music video. I love that song. So Damian created unique tracks like Welcome to Jam Rock, huge one, can't escape that one, and Road to Zion. Damien has brought reggae to a new generation and pushed its boundaries in the 21st century. He, whew, You know when you feel like you're about to sneeze, that's where I am.
Yeah, I thought of that.
There it goes. All right. So
But,
he was
but
born on July 21st, 1978, making him.
ah, Bob, he is special, Damien. I was talking to you about this offline. I'm really happy that we're coming back to that. I've been excited to get to him. He is what's called a Kin 124. The reason I'm really excited about discussing him is because the planet moves in its own family. Earth this year on July 26, 2025 is Kin 124. This is the Earth energy this year. Activations are happening. And what that energy means is he channels in order to target because he, like Marcia, is a seed, but he is not a crystal seed. He's a resonant seed. So this changes the tone from dedicating, universalizing to channeling. So his energy means this. He channels in order to target inspiring awareness. And he seals the input also of flowering, but with the resonant tone of attunement. And he is guided by the power also of intelligence. Also, just because he's connected with the planet, I have a connection with him, which is beautiful because I'm a blue resonant eagle. And in my right hand helper is the yellow resonant seed. And in his signature, we'll talk about later when we group it, I'm sitting on his right. I'm his helper. It's called the analog partner. He's my analog partner in terms of being a soul family. So it's really cool to see that, and I didn't look him up before you brought that up, that he is really in alignment with Earth's movement right now. And I want to say it one more time. He channels in order to target inspiring awareness to seal the input of flowering with the resonant tone of attunement, guided by the power of intelligence. And so look at what Marley's been doing. We see how him coming in as the sun taking over the legacy and doing his own thing and doing it in his blueprint, inspiring the new generation. Really was called the connector, the elder that did it, that left, and now he's doing it and paving the way and now making a new blueprint. So I love that he's on his divine blueprint and I wish him most success. And I'm definitely told you I should probably contact him now that I realize we have some work to do together. So this is very enlightening for me to realize that it's part of the soul family. Great Spirit tells you that, but you have to make some action to it. So love what I hear about him and knowing all what I knew before today that he is my brother.
That's right. That's right. And maybe we need to do another episode where we go through all the Marley children and their Mayan kin numbers and galactic signatures. Because,
I'll be honored.
he's the only son, he's the only child of the Marleys on this list that we have today. But we know there are a lot of talented folks in the Marley groupings. And another spiritual family member of the Marleys in association by the music, right, is the third in this list of the I3, Judy Mott, who I love so very much. You got to mention Judy Mott, Empress of Reggae, okay? It's
Okay.
so hard because it's almost like you could say maybe, and people might argue with me, but you might be able to say Rita Marley is the mother of reggae. Marcia Griffith is the queen of reggae, and Judy Mott is the empress of reggae. Maybe.
Got it.
Could potentially say that, but I'm not
Gotcha.
wanting anyone to throw any stones at me. Now,
Hey,
Mott is known for albums like Black Woman and songs like Many Are Called. She was a pioneer for women in reggae, singing out for social justice and female empowerment. Black woman, ooh, black woman, for you I struggle long. Woo, I love that song. She's just a powerhouse when it comes to women empowerment. She's thinking about it, she's singing about it, she is making note of it, she's talking about it in her interviews. She does not shy away from it at all. And she is, along with Marcia Griffith, one of the women that I talk about in detail in my dissertation. She was born on December 23rd, 1952, making her
ooh, ah. She is a kin number 149. That is a red rhythmic moon. You will see how this aligns with her. Check this out. Judy organizes in order to purify, balancing flow. She seals the process of universal water, which is consciousness, with the rhythmic tone of equality. And she is guided by her own power double. And I really would like to focus on that last line. When you know what your mission is and you're confident to do it, you're not worried about the receptivity. You're worried about what you're going to send. Some people aren't ready to receive, they will pick it up in time. Judy's like that. She's like, I'm sending out the energy. This is what it is. I'm not going to be shy. I'm going to overcome because rhythmics organize and they balance it with equality. They particularly understand that it's about the unity, which is one of the highest essences of love, that we are all part of Source Creator. There really is no separation. And so, again, she organizes in order to purify, balance, and flow, to seal the process of universal water with the rhythmic tone of equality, guided by her own power double. Kin 149, red rhythmic moon. Go, Judy.
Wow, so rhythmic tone of equality is jumping out at me because that is her
To a
so
nutshell.
much. That's her so much, the rhythmic tone of equality, you know, guided by her own power double. Do you know what I think is interesting about that? When she was younger, she had like you know, she was aware of God and she was aware of the church, but she didn't necessarily grow up going to church. And then when she was a younger adult, she went into Rastafari. And when she was in Rastafari, she would also visit Christian churches. And she actually converted to Christianity during her in when she got a bit older, she converted to Christianity. And I just think that's such an interesting path, right? And it to me reminds me of this idea of being guided by your own power doubled because she's a spiritual person, period. And she goes through multiple spiritual paths to get to a place where she feels like, yes, this is the path that I want to be on, right? Her own
Absolutely.
power doubled. So it's like she found power in Rastafari while she was within it, but then she also found power in Christianity when she
Hmm.
converted. So I think
Right
that's
on.
really interesting.
And you know, to add to that, here's another part of ascertaining it. Think about what you just mentioned. You just mentioned the second line, balancing the flow.
Hmm.
She did kind of like what I do. I went to Judaism, Christian, Islam, Mormon church to arrive at where I am now. My handle is 215 Galactic. I'm going on that. I'm guided by that power of I know what I know, and I have to go and do like that mission. And so Judy is literally, like you said, balancing the flow, sealing the process of universal water. Universal water, as I said in the prep, is consciousness. And so you don't get it from just one place. You know, there's greatness in all of it till you get to the point where you can stand on your own. And this is why she's like, hey, I got this. I'm guided by my own power, though. I'm unashamedly unapologetic black, maybe unashamedly unapologetic black Christian, but I'm spiritual. And that's a beautiful thing. So red rhythmic moves, yeah, she's a winner.
Awesome. Awesome. And we'll talk more about these folks. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Yes.
So Sean Paul. Sean
Oh
the
yeah.
Paul, the cup. Oh my God. Let me tell you, that's Sean Paul Henriquez. This is his last name. Back in the day when we had AOL, my first screen name was Queen Henriquez 03. Okay. I love Sean Paul. I was so excited to see a Jamaican artist having so much crossover play on
Big time, big
American
time.
stations and American TV. I loved Sean Paul so much. I knew his Dirty Cup album back and forth, you know? So he
Oh
took
yeah.
dancehall global, lighting up, and when I say he took dancehall global, he did, but there were, Ninja Man was doing the thing long before. There was a globality to dancehall before Sean Paul. But in terms of like various waves of taking dancehall global, he was definitely a front runner in some of those consecutive waves of dancehall
Got it.
global.
Got it.
Now, he was lighting up clubs all over the world. Songs like Get Busy, Temperature, Give Me the Lights, Just Give Me the Lights. Oh my gosh.
For the one to know. You rapping
All
that
the
all
Americans
day.
making up words to what he was
Okay.
saying. Like, what is he
Okay. Dude,
saying?
hey,
Like, bro.
j- I used to sing that before I knew, like, you know how they some it's like reggae, and I'm like black American. I didn't really know Jamaica. I'm just I was just mumbling this stuff. Didn't even know like younger as a kid when things were coming up, and like because it was just flow, and that's
Yes,
when you know
the
you get
flow.
hooked. You just hooked with it. So yeah, Sean's the man.
Mhm. So these songs combine infectious rhythm with crossover appeal, establishing him as a modern legend. And I also want to big up Sean Paul because right now he is one of several celebrities really pushing to give relief to Jamaicans hit by the
The
hurricane.
storm, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And even back when Haiti was hit by the earthquake and Shaggy was bringing together various artists to sing the song We Shall Rise Again for Haiti, Sean Paul was there as well. So
Got it.
this is a man who definitely takes his global leadership seriously.
And got to. All
He
right. Well,
was
that's
born,
gonna
let me
lead to
tell
who?
you,
Yeah.
he
Go
was
ahead.
born on January 8th, 1973, making him
He is Ken 200, a yellow overtone sun. Watch how this plays into him. He empowers in order to enlighten, commanding life. He seals the matrix of universal fire with the overtone tone of radiance. He is guided by the power of elegance. Now, let's just pause there parenthetically for a minute. Now, Sean is doing that. He is completely empowering to enlighten a whole new generation, cross transcending that, but commanding life, meaning he's exactly where he is. His energy, he just commands it. The stage is set. He walks in. It's not just the way he dresses, not the way he talks. He's like, I can be political, I can be spiritual, I can be black on your butt. He's just like, it's real.
hmm
And to seal the matrix of universal fire, which is the fire that lives in each of us. I call that the solar plexus, the sun that's in the body. He's
hmm
connected and guided by the power of elegance. So, oh yeah, Sean is all good. Like he's on the divine blueprint. Let's just keep it real.
Right. I like the command
Ken,
and the
Ken
power of light.
200,
You said he commands light, right?
commanding life, life, not light, life, commanding
Life,
life.
Life.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Commanding life. I like that. I like that. I
It's,
mean,
it's,
I appreciate Sean Paul so much. He has so many hits.
yeah.
He has so many hits. And
That's commanding.
he-
That's right there. Just empowering to universal. I'm saying when you're a son, like here's what I'm bringing about a son. The sons are important because the thing about the sons is the sun is the actual reflection of it all. The sons enlighten life, and but the sons in the galactic center are what's called the awesome reflector. I'm a human design reflector. I get that. The sun comes up and broadcasts to everyone. You know, like religion says, it's
right.
going to shine on the righteous and the unrighteous. They're not trying to care if you want to put on sunscreen, a helmet, shade, glasses, stay your butt in the house. They're like, man, I'm broadcasting. This is what's up.
Right.
I'm up. He's like that. A light is a light, just like a candle. One candle can light up a forest at night, but no darkness can illuminate the day, can take
Mm,
it away. Light is light. And so Sean's that dude.
yeah. When he said, "Give me the light," he was talking about himself.
Yeah, babe.
hmm All right. So let's move on to another son, right? Tanya
Uh,
Stephens, who stands out with razor sharp lyricism and sultry vocals. Tracks like It's a Pity, which is a big tune. It's a pity you already have a wife, and me done have one man in my life. Rude boy, it is a pity. And These Streets is another anthem. These are anthems of resilience and real life storytelling, making her a vital voice in reggae today. There's a whole book called something like Rough Riding, Tanya Stephens and a host of things. And it's a great book by various authors out of UE. UE Press, I believe, is the ones that published it. And it's a great book for anyone who's interested in reggae dancehall. Um, Read that book. I have not finished the entire book, but I went through quite a bit of it. And it just talks about how Tanya Stephens was just like way beyond her time. She was talking about polyamory,
Mm-hmm.
adjacent um love in It's a Pity, right? So
Hmm.
that's one level of it. She was talking about, like how would you treat a person who was gay? She's talking about homophobia. She doesn't back down. And she
Set the
was
standard.
born on July 2nd, 1973, making
Oh yeah.
her.
Now you got to get ready for these synchronicities. So she also, like Sean, is a son. However, he is an overtone son. She is a kin 100. He was a kin 200. Her galactic signature is a yellow solar sun, like double sun, if you think about a solar sun. Check how this
Mhm.
rolls about her. Her affirmation says she pulses in order to also enlighten, realizing life. Like, so the realization of like, hey, people are one, and you can't be homophobic, and you can be who you want to be. Love is free; it's freely received. Polymo. So she realized in life to seal also the matrix of universal fire, but with the solar tone of intention.
Mm,
And she is guided by the power of intelligence. So just
mhm.
really think about that. She's pulsing in order to also enlighten, but she's realizing life. And that's what you meant by setting standards. She's like, man, I see this vision about that. I'm doing that. I'm not going to hold back, and I'm going to talk about the real issues. I call that triple S, soul saving shit. Bringing up conversations that sometimes ain't pleasant because that's what trendsetters do. That's what the sun does. And then she's guided by the power of intelligence, meaning like information and information is different than intelligence. Intelligence is when you take the information or knowledge and turn it into wisdom, such as
Right.
we know we're all equal, but what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna follow? So Tanya's all on that. Ken 100, a yellow solar sun. Go,
Beautiful.
sister.
That's right. Big up Tanya Stephens, a true
Yeah.
writer, true songwriter in many aspects, in many, many aspects. She is just, whew, you really can't beat no one when it comes to writing. Like she have a sharp one. She have a song about her pen. What a way, she does a good, she really, when they say razor sharp lyricism, they're not kidding. Okay, they're not kidding.
Right.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep
Let's
going.
keep it
So
going. Keep it going.
we have Buju Banton, right? Big up Buju. Brings a signature deep delivery, moving crowds for decades with his hits like Champion, Destiny, Destiny. Mama, look from where you calling. Destiny. Mama, look from when you calling. I wanna rule my destiny. Yes. His other song, Wanna Be Loved. His influence runs deep in reggae's roots, spirit, and continued evolution. Big up Buju Banton, right? So reggae, but also dancehall in his delivery. Um, really just, whew. I mean, I feel like I'm saying the same thing for all of them. Before we talk about Buju real quick though, I do want to note how many of these artists are guided by the power of intelligence. I find it so interesting, like that line, that through line has been coming up quite a bit so far. But we'll talk about that after we go through everybody. I just wanted to make that little note, little keynote right there. But Buju Banton, he was it's so funny. We have the 73s all in a row. He was born on July 15th, 1973.
Woo. Y'all
Big-
get ready? He is a kin number 113. a red solar skywalker. This is the first red we're going to talk about. So you can see the difference here between the yellows and we've done the white. We haven't got blues yet. He also is born on what's called a galactic activation portal day. So you can see that Skywalker born on a portal day and walking the worlds. His signature is this. He is a solar like Tanya, but it says this red. He pulses in order to explore, realizing wakefulness, and he seals the output of space with the solar tone of intention. And he is guided by the power of universal water, and he is a galactic activation portal. Enter me, it says. And so just slow that down for a second. Pulsing is the tone, ninth tone. Skywalker is the seal, the 13th of 20. Exploring wakefulness in space with the pulsing, realizing intention. Solar tones do things by intention. They aren't random, whether it's how they dress, who they talk to, what they say. They mean what they say and say what they mean. And this person who's doing that, exploring wakefulness, meaning I know what I'm talking about, I'm alert, and I'm gonna give it to you. And you gotta be loving a red solar Skywalker, who's a galactic activation portal.
All right now. Big up Buju Banton. Big up,
Big
big up.
up, big up, bless it up.
And after him, let's talk about Lady Saw. Now we're taking it back. We're going back a little bit of a half step in generations. Not too far, not too far. Still a pair in some ways, you know. Just, a little the big sister energy. You know. So Lady Saw. The original queen of the dance hall broke barriers for women, being bringing fierce energy and clever lyrics. Her songs on the sycamore tree, under the sycamore tree, my mama me bow, and me tell him to flee. I tell you, it was under the sycamore tree. Yo, that song.
Yo, yo.
Listen, okay. Next song now. Man is the least. And I've got your man. Show why she rules the dance hall. Grammy win and all.
Dig it.
She was born in July as well, on the 12th in 1968.
All right. Now, I want to preface her for a moment. Judy is one of the real special people on planet because her signature is the one that codes all signatures every year. And so what happens for everybody's signature, when you're born, let's say your
Did you
day
mean to say
on your
Lady
birth,
Saw?
I mean Lady Saw, excuse me, I mean Lady Saw, yeah, sorry. Lady Saw, yes, July 12th, 68. What happens for everybody, like you, me, them, everybody, they're born on their signature on their birthday. But every year they get another signature and they run through 52 different signatures in their family and they come back on their 52nd birthday with the same one they're born with. This is what the 52-year orbit of, which is one of the 52 to 60. And so what that means is that everybody on their birthday, you add up 105 to their number, and that's what they're going to be on their birthday. So for instance, if she's on 105, her next year, she's kin 210. You get what I'm saying? 105 plus 105 to 10, it goes 105 every year, plus 105. Every soul does that. That's part of the harmonic module. So she's really in rhythmic about planetary alignment. And
Mhm.
what her red magnetic serpent is, she's a red magnetic serpent, means this beautiful one. She unifies in order to survive, attracting instinct, and she seals the store of life force with the magnetic tone of purpose. She is guided by her own power double. And so, again, the magnetics, the rhythmics, and the spectrals all are guided by their own power double. So you can see how Lady Saw is about survival, instinct, life force, but also unifying, attracting with purpose. She's a superpower.
Yeah, love her. Big up Mama Sa, Lady Sa, yeah, real big woman, as Chronics would say. That's real. That's real. She's dance hall royalty, to be real about the situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
big
yeah.
up. Big up to her,
105.
for sure. And moving right along, we come to Queen Ifrica. Now, Queen Ifrica is one of the women I talk about in my dissertation. hmm
Mm-mm.
And so, I could go on about Queen Ifrica on and on, right? But
Yeah,
Queen
yeah.
Ifrica now has empowering tracks like Lioness on the Rise and Below the Waist. And she uses her voice for activism, giving strength to youth and championing women's rights in reggae's new wave. And Queen Ifrica, one thing she does not play about is being a voice against sexual assault, okay? She has she has a song that talks about the problems of incest. She doesn't hide from the hard discussions. She goes right to them, right directly to them. Okay?
Got to. Got to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so big up to her for her activism, for true, for true, for true. And she Queen Ifrica, was born on March 25th, 1975.
Right. Oh, I love 25 and 75 makes 100. Kind of funny. I just saw that.
Oh.
But check this out. Now, again, Johnny, you did a really good segue into blueprinting her, knowing without knowing, gnosis because of her output. But check this out. She is the final one of our list that is also a galactic activation portal. She is one of the only two blues in the family. The next one will be blue as well. And her kin number is 211. She is a blue electric monkey. Check how this rolls. She activates in order to play, bonding illusion, and she seals the process of magic with the electric tone of service. And she is guided by the power of vision. She is a galactic activation portal into her. So I feel her very much because the electrics are powerful. They activate, but they activate whatever they activate, bonding it. And in her case, the play and illusion, meaning she sees it for what it is and can talk about it, not get caught up on the perception of reality, like the ancestors may have thought the earth was flat, or the people that thought that, racism is real and we're not one. She just gets right through that matrix. And she's guided by the power of vision. Because when you know where you're going, you don't get bumped off along the way. You just get back on your calibration of your GPS. So props to Queen Ifrica, a galactic portal girl who is a blue electric monkey. Love it.
All right. Finally, finally, the bright light of today's scene, one of the many bright lights, I should say, coffee. Love me some coffee, coffee. Also, Michaela. Oh, yeah. Getting to the paper. Ain't nobody greater. Hey, she's the baddest thing on touch America, yeah. That's her newest song. She was born February 16, 2000. She broke records as the youngest artist ever to win a Grammy for Best Reggae Album. Her global hit Toast embodies joy and gratitude. Blessings up on my life, man. Yeah, man. While W and Rapture prove her fresh take on reggae is here, you know? Very excited about the fact
Mhm.
that she's back to doing music. She took some time off after her touring, getting the Grammy and touring. I shouldn't say she took time off necessarily because she was doing collaborations in the meantime, but in terms of her own projects, she took a little time before she did Rapture, the EP, and then did I think it was a deluxe release of Rapture again, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then um now we have something brewing for coffee. I'm very excited. I mentioned her birthday already, and that makes her.
She is a kin number 199. She is what's called a blue self-existing storm. And consequently, you got to think about what a storm is. It's not always bad, right? Storms bring the fresh rain to clean things up. It washes away waste. So think about what a storm can really do. Check out the flow of it. She defines in order to catalyze measuring energy. She seals the matrix of self generation with the self existing tone of form, and she is guided by the power of vision. So just think about coffee, right? And what she's done. I mean, just imagine it. She's self-existing form. I mean, she knows she is. She ain't tied it. She's broadcasting, but catalyzing energy to self-generate. It's a beautiful thing because we all have DNA in our body that we can heal ourselves. The body self-generates. You get a cut by a scratch, it self-generates. You can do many wonders when you're in alignment with your body. And so she does that effortlessly by her signature, and she empowered her through her music and her connections. And I just say that, like you said, we love me some coffee. Think about the stage name of coffee, right? It's energizing and catalyzing, giving you power. So I love me some coffee too.
Right. And for sure, it's interesting. I love when she talks about where her name came from. She said that it was a hot day and she was still ordering a hot coffee, and the person remarked, like, "You really gonna drink hot coffee on a day like today?" And it just stuck with her, coffee. And so she just put it with the K, coffee.
There you
Uh,
go.
yeah, and she does plays on that term in various songs of hers, which I love. I like her song. I mean, I like so many of her songs. Blazing, Lockdown. Um, so too many. I love
Yeah,
too
okay. Like
many
it
of
can't
her
even be
songs.
played. Just like it's just there. It's
Yeah.
self-existing.
Blue self-existing storm. She better big up ourself. Yes, indeed. All these artists, big up yourself. Big up yourself. They are really true gems of dancehall and reggae. True gems. For real, for real.
Got it.
And so if you would, take your time and, we've got about 5 minutes or so before we'll wrap up the
Mhm.
episode. Um, Can you talk a little bit about the themes of Galactic Signature and the
Mhm.
Soul King that
Okay.
kind of bring together all the different things we've been talking about?
Absolutely. But I would like to do one thing before we segue with that. I know we got 3 minutes. I think it's important for the audience to also understand you and I mean, like
Oh,
we are also a part of it. So I would love for them to
mhm.
know who you are and as well as who my signature is because we are part of that unity. So I want to, if you mind, I'd like to share yours and then share mine, and then we'll move into how we're all part of these groups. So I think we have enough time to do that if that's okay with you.
Yeah, we do. So I was born on November 17th, 1990. Today is my birthday, listeners. If you're listening on the first day of this release, it is my birthday. I'm 35
Oh,
today. We're recording this the day before,
wait a
so
minute.
all of that time stuff. But you all are listening to it on my birthday. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm a blue
Today's your
galactic
birthday
knight.
today? Is it? It's not tomorrow? I thought it was tomorrow.
Tomorrow, but the listeners hear it on Mondays because Jahmi Roc's
Okay, okay.
Jottings
Gotcha. Okay.
drops on Mondays.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, I don't want to throw
Okay.
you off.
All
So
right.
I'm a blue galactic knight, and I have not yet memorized my affirmations. I'll
All good.
recognize them as soon as Shelby says them, but I do not remember them
Love
off
it.
the top of my
Uh,
head.
Awesome. So for you audience, my friend Jami, I know her. I know all the 260. That's why I can say these by heart. This is part of what I do. I'm coded. So check her out and allow y'all feedback and say, yeah, Jami, that's you, girl. Blue Galactic Night. She harmonizes in order to dream, modeling intuition. And she seals the input of abundance with the galactic tone of integrity. And she is guided by the power of accomplishment. And so I can say in my testimonies, knowing her the last several years, me and her are on 40 different songs together. We're singing, we're working things together, we're harmonizing. We are harmonizing in order to dream something big. And I'm working with her on the Genuine Human Being Project. But she's modeling instinct, knowing when to say yes and no. I laugh at that because in knowing her, I've seen her basically just detach and cut people off for some transgression. She's like, oh, well, you did this, you're out of here. And that's the intuition of saying, I got to move it on. And that's a beautiful thing to know yourself. when to detach your love through discernment. And she seals the input of abundance. I mean, and about bringing in love, which is the highest frequency of all energetic print there is, with the galactic tone of integrity. And Johnny will tell you, she don't want to fuck around with no liars. I'm keeping
Hmm.
it real. I don't mean to curse, but she know, you ain't honest. She like, I'm done. Her intuition kicks in. She like, see you when I see you. And she's guided by the power of accomplishment. Look at her. She's about to be a doctor.
Hey, thank you.
Love,
I
love.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Hmm.
And you want to comment on yourself real quick? Maybe tell how you realize yourself, and then I'll just do mine, and then we'll jump into the families.
I'll put in a reminder to listen to my song. Write your name across the sky.
Yay! New release. That's what's that. That's that.
New release, and write your name across the sky is
That harmonizing,
definitely
the
has
dreaming
to,
intuition.
absolutely has to do with dream,
Awesome.
has to do intuition, has to do with accomplishment. You know
Right
what I'm
on.
saying? All of those things has to do
Sweet.
with abundance. I mean, come on, now write your name across the whole sky. That's abundant. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hey,
listen to
shoot for
my
the stars.
song,
You land on the
y'all.
moon. Yeah. Nice. Props up, blessed sister. Okay, and finally, myself as the guest here, I want to give you my reflection of who I am. Hopefully, you guys can have seen that energy because once again, when you know who you are, you're just gonna broadcast. I am what's called a blue resonant eagle. It's akin 215. It's in many of my songs. My handle is 215 Galactic, which is kind of interesting. And my energy is contained in genuine human beings.com, which is my website. And so my energy is this: I channel in order to create inspiring minds. I seal the output of vision with the resonant tone of attunement, and I am guided like Jami by the power of accomplishment. That's why she's my soul sister. We get that accomplishment, we blend it. And so that's who I am, Shelby. Like I said in the beginning, it shall be. I'm honored to be able to show the vision because I seal the output of vision of all these great artists who do that. And I'm honored to talk about how we blend them into their families and more to come, Johnny, in future sessions if you want to dig into consciousness because we are all a genuine human being. And for the record, you guys, I also have a song coming out called Genuine Human Beings. Yes,
Hey,
like genuine. So it's coming out to do my blueprint. So yeah, more to come
hey.
on us. Yes, ma'am.
More to come. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Shelby, thank you for being the guest today on Jahmi Rocks Jotting, the 11th episode of season 2. To our listeners, big up on yourself. We appreciate you. We thank you. Hey, why don't you send the link to this podcast to a friend and that friend to another friend? Spread the galactic love and cheer. All right?
Each one teach one.
That's right. Big up yourself. Bless. Until then, we'll jam later.
Hoorah. Blessings.